Welcome back to the episode. It's January 7th, 2026. Happy New Year to everybody. Um, Switching over, football season is
Yes, sir. Happy New Year.
officially over. But we're gonna jump into basketball season. For our favorite teams, Michigan basketball, firing on all cylinders. Had a squeak a little road went out, last night, but that's expected, especially in college basketball. Pistons, first in the East. Um, could very well have the best record in the league. I haven't looked, but I know. I mean, I imagine they're up there as far as that's concerned too. So yeah, it's an exciting time for basketball season. Second best record in the league. Okay, exciting time for basketball season. So he's gonna go ahead and dive in and jump into that a little bit, and that'll really be extent of the conversation will be from here on out until free agency, NFL, draft, all that good stuff comes up down, later on this year. But yeah, I'll that being said, I'm gonna kick it over to you and just want to see your thoughts on how Wolverine's been looking on a basketball court lately.
Yeah, no, I would say the first time I really, kind of because we haven't spoke about him much recently or this season at all, really. The first time I really was overly impressed would have been that Thanksgiving weekend when they just kind of ran through like San Diego State, Auburn, Gonzaga in like a couple of weeks span with like I don't know, 130 point total margin of victory on over those 3 game stretch. All versus ranked teams, and that was the first time where I was like, okay, this team when they're hitting on all cylinders is at another level, and it seems like they're hitting on all cylinders almost every other night.
Yeah.
I love what the nucleus Dusty May brought together. Kind of a good mix of a couple of high school guys, a couple of guys that he brought back from last year, some players that he kind of targeted in the transfer portal, highly touted. Obviously his last name wrong. Jackenberg or
Lindenborg.
Lindenborg when he got Mora from UCLA. So I think he's been, he has a real eye for talent, and he kind of put this team together and just how he's coaching them, how good they are, how fast they play. The sky's the limit for them, really. And you're sitting there looking, and every other night they're dropping 100 on people. It's very impressive. So,
Yeah.
Nothing to really complain about. Just looking at the schedule here, you're getting kind of the heart of that Big Ten schedule. So, you got some tough games coming up, over the next month. I think we'll further know who they're built, who they are, what they're built for. And also looking on here, the next 8 games of ours are nationally televised: CBS, ABC, Peacock, Fox, ABC, Fox Sports.
Yeah.
So we're going to have that national spotlight on us, and it's time for them just to continue to get it done.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, no, you hit it on the head. I gotta give like Dusty May a lot of credit because I do feel like there's guys on this team that could probably be averaging like twice the amount of points, stats wise, everything, probably playing more, going somewhere else. But he was able to find a way to get, guys like Morris Johnson Jr., like you said, Mara, Lindenborg, to come to Ann Arbor. And I mean, everybody just meshed very, very well. And then yeah, getting like Cadeau as well from North Carolina. And that's the thing. One thing, the biggest thing I noticed because my man's from last year, Trey Holloway. I'm blanking on his name. Who he had? It was from Auburn. Um,
Oh, yes. But yeah,
so,
continue. Yeah.
like, so you look at the play style, and
Mm-hmm.
like we had kind of like a high turnover, issue last year, kind of with him. He was a great player. I mean, he kind of made some big shots down the end, end of the season, and really played well. But you see now, like, got more of like a floor general. Where I feel like that's kind of been something that's helped us from like a turnover standpoint, and it's feel like everybody's like comfortable with like playing their role. Like Lindenborg is like the head of the snake. You got like Mara, he's like, really like a rim protector. He's got nice little offensive game as well. And then really everybody else is kind of filling in. You got like guys like Demari Burnett, 5 year, 6 year guy, if I'm not mistaken. He's been shooting the ball lights out. You got, Roddy Gale, which I think every like college basketball team needs, just like a Swiss Army knife that can just kind of
Yeah.
come in and just do a lot of different things. He had like a monster game in the tournament against Texas A&M last year. And like the depth is so crazy, you kind of forget about people. You got like the sophomore Kaysen that also had a great game against Texas A&M in the the tourney last year. Got a 5-star coming off the bench, and Trey McKinney that we're hoping doesn't go too crazy to where he feel like he needs to commit to the go to the draft. And yeah, Will Shetter, another guy that's just like a solid upperclassman that can come in and give you 10 to 12, 15 minutes, hit an open three, a couple threes a game. Um, I don't know. It's one of those things. I think the only thing for me is like, hopefully not like peaking too soon or anything like that as far as like how well they're playing. But I think Dusty got them all, pretty much locked in from here to like just really playing some good high quality basketball.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think a way to kind of summarize a lot of things you just said is we have a large collection of talent that is all bought in, and they're bought in. They're playing well for the system. They're playing well for the coach. And it sounds cliche or whatever, but I truly think they're out there having fun. You watch them get a rebound, skip it across 70 feet down the court, get a
Yeah,
dunk, swing the ball around, shoot. I mean, I don't think who wouldn't want to be out there if they know, hey, I just got to come in here and bust my ass for these 15, 20 minutes. I know I'm going to get X amount of shots off, play hard, and we're on to the next one. I think that's kind of the second team is kind of bought in too because the first team goes so hard that the second team is getting mad minutes. So we're a very deep team. We have that. So I think it's a gift and curse with. You don't want to peak early. I 100% agree with you on that. But it's also kind of the team development that we will have when everybody is used to playing deep in the games and they're getting a lot of minutes. It might not be a moment too big for the bench if they have to step in and play. It might those
right.
type of things will our game sliders will be up on those. And then other things that does kind of scare me is, just kind of the drag of night in and night out and having people continue to buy in when you are sitting there at 14-0 for whatever reason, they won't give you the number one overall seed or number one overall. Arizona, they have that boxed out for them, but just kind of remembering what to play for,
Yeah,
remembering that every one of these games count over the next couple of weeks. And it's not just all about, it's brick by brick to win that championship. And that starts with having the best regular season, locking in the Big Ten, number one overall seed, so on and so forth. So I think those are the type of things Dusty May will probably have to get them re-locked in for as time goes on.
yeah,
But I mean, you look at Lindenborg, he's amazing. I look into his stats. He's had I think he's played like 12 college or 12 high school games total in his career on varsity, and then he went to
yeah.
JUCO for years, then Alabama at Birmingham. Then he's been taking natural progressions all the way up to get to this point, and he looks very well polished. Looks
First
like natural
legs.
year. The only reason he might not win that is he's playing like 24 minutes a game because we're beating the shit out of people every other night.
Right.
So he'll have to have big moments, big clutch opportunities coming up. I mean, playing in the Big Ten here is not going to be a shortage of that. I know, I forget when, but we have an odd game against Duke, I think, in mid-February.
Yeah.
That could
Measuring
I have
stick game.
here February 21st. We play Duke.
Hmm.
Moments like that, I think, where this team's that'd be potentially fighting for number one overall seed or fighting for getting another Q1 quad win or whatever it might look like in that moment.
Yeah.
The times where I think it's interesting that we even have that game scheduled that late, and that kind of shows you. I don't know if Dusty May has a handprint in that, or maybe that's just where basketball is going. But having to test that late in the season, I think would not be. I think that's gonna come out to our benefit.
For
I think
sure.
it's a stick for us either way. We go out there and jump on them and we get it or whatever. So not to look too far ahead, but I think those are the type of big moments I'm looking for this team to really, not fall asleep and lag in the down ones, and then step up when you go to at state at first or out at Nebraska in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. The good old they're calling it the duel in the district. Playing Duke in Washington D.C. February 21st. So yeah, that's one to definitely look forward to. But no, you hit it on the head. I mean, I think I think my favorite thing about like Lindenborg is like just to kind of shadow him a little bit more. Like he defends. Like a lot of guys, like star players typically they just want to go get their own bucket. put up points. But there's been a couple times this season where, I've watched, maybe a guy, another team gets a little hot, and he's been able to, he'll just kind of take that assignment and just kind of make sure, or try to do what he can to like shut that guy's water off or slow him down, whatever that kind of looks like. So, yeah, I just feel like this is a team of guys. It's like, they want to play for each other. It's like they feel like they play pretty unselfish. And I just, yeah, because I took the cap to Dusty May because last year we were like, man, it would be great to win 19 games and he gets to the Elite Eight, and I
Yeah,
guess, and I think the thing I like about him the most is like last year the team was just, it was rocky as far as like turnovers and just like, up and down that side of things quite a bit. And I mean, that in this college, like, they're going to turn the ball over to college kids, but it's been a night and day difference just as far as that's concerned, since this season has started. So yeah, I think overall he's looking forward to some more of these Big Ten, big time matchups that they go to. Like you said, I'd look too far ahead, but for what it's worth, go to Ohio, February 8th. They go to East, MSU January 30th. Like you said, they got Nebraska coming up. Nebraska looks like a solid, they look like a solid college, basketball team. So
they
you
got
just got
state
some of
the other week. They got state the other day. Yeah.
Yeah, yep. So you just look at some of
Mhm.
these matchups coming up, and this is where, yeah, rubber hits the road, and they got like an interesting little, like, they got to go to Washington, then go to Oregon, next week, and yeah, you just want to kind of see how they stack up. And it's funny, like before last night, even though they won, it was such a close game. Like I think I said, like you and James before in the little chat, like the first loss will be such a shock to the system because it doesn't look like anybody is even in the same atmosphere as this team right now.
Right.
Um, until but like I said, like last night, I think that was one of those like one off or whatever it looked like. I mean, Big Ten road win, like you'll take that every single time. But like prior to that, I mean, these guys have looked virtually unstoppable, and looking forward to seeing what they made of. I'll be locked in on Saturday watching them play Wisconsin, and yeah, looking forward to seeing what more they got going on here as we get to closer to February, and then tournament time is right on the corner.
Right. No, I think yeah, I agree. It would be a shock to the system because of how well we're playing, and that is something that just kind of it's the nature of the beast when you're this good, and I think unexpectedly this good. And
Yeah,
um, college basketball, maybe more so than college football, you're probably going to have four of new five guys out there.
yeah,
Probably eight of your five, or eight, probably 5 year top eight rotation every single year from here on out is going to be a new set of guys. Um,
yeah.
and I had a lot of talk about this past weekend. I think Dusty May is kind of built for this new system. He's built for kind of keeping the core nucleus. Hey, you buy in, and we're going to get X, Y, and Z from the portal, or we got
Yep.
some coming in, and like you said, he addressed the issue we had last year, which was the major turnovers, and
Mhm.
he addressed that with just complete dominance, waves of players dominance. So I'm looking forward to kind of what we can do, and just kind of lock in a little more now. You said that quicker than we thought, but now that football season's over for us, we are full steam ahead, lock into them, and then uh, like you said, Wisconsin this upcoming week, or sorry, this upcoming Saturday, and then you got a couple of roll ones out
Mhm.
west. Yeah, and then kind of your stretch of your traditional Big Ten from here on out. So, man, I'm feeling good about them, and yeah. So
Yeah, we'll see
I don't know
what they do from here. Yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah, no, we'll see what they do from here. Looking for, like I
if you
said,
can go in, if you can get in the state 21-0, that'd be that'd be a feat.
it'd be legit.
That'd be,
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about those tickets till I saw they was going for like 300 a pop. So I'm like, it'd be kind of cool to go see him play in the Breslin, but that ain't gonna happen, at least not this season. uh, but yeah, yeah, we'll switch gears here to another basketball team that's firing on all cylinders. Um, and I think the thing with the Pistons that's been so interesting is, there's a lot of like concern and worry we weren't able to bring back certain key guys, and like, thinking about how that might make an impact to the team. But it's obvious that the guys that were brought in have made a pretty significant impact. They're playing a lot better than they were at this point last year. I think at this point last year, I mean, this is where they started to really like get hot, and now 27-9, second best record in the league. Um, yeah, I think it's just funny. Like it last year, it was just like, can you go 6-4 or better every 10 games, or really just kind of stay around 500? I think they've done a great job of now unless there's like a bottom out, you're not gonna have to worry about the play in. At this point, you're really like putting yourself in prime position to get a top four seed and be able to get home court advantage. Cade just looks like he's fully in control, leading the charge, and just enjoying how guys are coming in and out, and just playing a role, and guys are taking turns stepping up night in and night out, beating the hell out of teams without starters. Everybody's just firing all cylinders. Yeah, what are your thoughts have been since the Pistons have kicked off the season?
No, I think we kind of circling back from last year. I think we probably we are like a year ahead of schedule. I think we were like a year ahead of schedule. How we ended up finishing last year, and we're even further more so this year. And
Hmm.
that's the first thing that I'm looking at is just truly how good, how much of a difference it makes getting a good GM and a good coach in place. First and foremost, also first and foremost, Cade Cunningham, and just his natural progression and just the amount of attention he pulls offensively. He gets everybody else involved. He's hovering at 9.5, 10 assists a game, second in the NBA in assists. He's like top 5, 7 in scoring with like 27 a game. And on top of that, he gets you another 7 rebounds a game. So I think it's that nucleus there, or that being in place, as well as just um, I don't even know what to call them, just a collection of just dogs. And I would put Asar in that, Ron Holland in that, Jaden Ivey, not Jaden Ivey too, but I'm in the Duran, Isaiah Stewart. All those guys are just they would have a spot on any NBA roster in any way. They're going to buy in. They're going to play tough nose D. They're going to dive on the floor. All this. So I think really what we've built is kind of a perfect unit for like the kind of modern day superstar like Cade is. And that's we maybe need a slight more amount of shooting around him to really blow the wheels off of it. But I
Yeah.
think we have that core there, and it's a beautiful sight to see. And you throw in Duncan Robinson when he gets hot. Um, just little extra icing on the cake as far as more.
Hmm.
And
That
yeah,
that's been kind of scary too, is because I was like looking at just kind of like his stats recently, and I mean he's kind of been he ain't playing bad, but he's just not really been shooting the ball as efficiently. I wouldn't say as you like necessarily, but I think something there too, where it's like there's some meat on the bone, with this team. You got like, you got him maybe not shooting the ball as well, at least this part of the season. You got a guy like Jaden Ivey that, has been back for about a month and a half, 2 months now that, he's starting to kind of come into his own, or, just kind of getting his feet back under him. And, you know, I mean, who knows? We start to get later on in the season. He probably, gets back going. Got guys like Marcus Sasser coming back. Like it's just kind of crazy watching like you're looking at like the stats of guys really on this team overall. Like you got Asar 11, 11, 2 and 6. Tobias Harris 13, 2 and 4. Ivy 8, 8, 1 and 2. Dennis Jenkins 7, 2 and 1. You got guys just like it's a collective effort to just like give Cade support night in and night out. And it's just been crazy seeing the leaps that guys like Asara have taken. I think the biggest one, biggest ones I'm probably most impressed with is like Duran and Isaiah Stewart. Just from like an offensive side, especially Isaiah Stewart. I mean, you want to talk like, me, I ain't really want to be trying to ship people off and everything just to try to, figure out how to get a star in there. But the way Isaiah Stewart plays, it makes you feel a lot better about maybe making a move if need be, knowing that that could be your starting center and seeing like what he could do in like a starter, with like starter minutes and stuff. And you got a couple different guys on here that,
yeah.
I hope you don't make no crazy move, but got some guys that we can ship off, and get, maybe like some extra shooting or something like that in return. if need be.
I would have to look into what it kind of reminds me of, that like the distribution of points
Yeah,
is kind of like OKC, kind of like maybe like Boston, kind of like where
yeah,
the they go deep into their bench, where they have the eighth man. He'll average 8, but he could drop 20 at any
25
given night.
random. Yeah.
I think we have a lot of those guys on there where um as long as Cade is flowing, as long as Duran is flowing, and let's say one other guy is on, the rest
Hmm.
of those guys just need to kind of play their spot minutes, their opportunities, and it's flowing. And then the points in the paint, I don't know. People aren't built to defend that. I watch Duran just eating the paint. I watch Asari eating the paint. I watch Ron Holland eating the paint. Cade, he
Yeah,
gets to the
Cade
basket.
backing guys down all the way to the circle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't
just
put a weak ass defender on him. If you don't have your best defender on him, he's pretty much just choosing to go to the basket until you decide to stop it.
and
Uh,
and he can't be guarded regardless. So you can put your
no,
best defender on him, and it ain't gonna matter. That's where he's at. That's what it's looked like, at least up to this point.
I completely agree with that, and it's unstoppable. It's and I said it. You'll see it when we go to the game in a couple weeks. When I seen him live, that 6'6" is a lie. He's way bigger than that. It's,
Yeah,
uh, so no, I think the what we have going. I don't want to. If you would have talked to me maybe a month ago or 6 weeks ago, I would have entertained you on a Laurie marketing trade. I would have entertained you on a Trey Murphy. I would have entertained you on who's the other name that was getting thrown out there? Michael Porter Jr.
or
You know,
Junior.
you
Mm,
know, yeah. I would have entertained all those. 6 months or 6 weeks ago, 6 months ago for
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
It, now I'm beginning to think I don't want to do nothing too crazy. I remember talking to, maybe it was you or maybe it was my dad, maybe like 6 weeks ago, a month ago, and I was like, hey, if we start to lose heading before the All-Star break, maybe we can try to blow it up. But if we
hmm
would, it would be crazy to be sitting there heading into the All-Star break at like fucking 35-9, and and
just shipping people off,
start
just cause.
doing too many crazy things. So the only thing, assuming full steam ahead for a while, potentially go get you another shooter around, just a guy that don't need no minutes, and actually have the
Yeah,
perfect.
or Beasley get cleared.
Beasley get cleared, I'll take that too. I have a guy. I don't know if he's available, but I have a guy that we could definitely go get, and he's sitting right there on the Jazz bench. One Kevin
Oh,
Love,
oh man, oh he ain't been bought out and went to the Lakers yet.
somebody like that. And I say that because um, I think he's averaging like 7 and 7 this year.
Hmm.
Very low maintenance, knows how to
So,
win, and he's shooting
yeah,
38% from three.
that'd be a nice
Um,
little more
yeah.
size. Yeah,
And I
that'd be a
happened to be
nice.
watching a random game like 3 weeks ago, and the dude had 16 and 16.
Hmm. We
And I
he
was like,
turned the
okay,
clocks back for real.
yeah. I
It's
was
like
like, okay,
Minnesota
so
days.
if he can hit you one of those every month, maybe that could be in second round of the playoffs for us or something. You never know
Yeah,
when. And I
yeah,
think outside of that, he's a threat. He's gonna make the right pass. He's gonna,
yep,
little shit like that. And I think you can go get him for 2 twos or something.
for
Something,
sure.
something not crazy at all.
And I think one thing too, man, it's like we used to being the buyer on the buyout market. Letting guys walk and holding, taking their contract. Now I might be in a spot to where some of these guys get traded to these bad teams. They get
Go
bought
to us.
out. And they can come to us for like a
Yeah, you ain't lying. I've never
minimum.
even thought about that opportunity. So I guess we kind of did it last year with um the German dude.
Oh, Schroeder, yeah,
Schroeder. Yeah, but yeah, no, that exact, and you see how much he worked out, how much he benefited. So yeah, that's a perfect example. Yeah, you play those markets, you play, but I don't want to do nothing too crazy. I think um you see Cage rested now, strategically get him those little rest games. I guess that's just the way the nature of it is now. But he's played probably all but 4 or 5 games this year.
yeah.
Um, so if
He's
he,
on pace for another All NBA, All Star, All Star appearance. He locked in. He locked now. Like that's he keep playing at this level. I can't wait for that. Not to get too ahead of it, but I still can't wait for that MVP 32, or maybe like what's he averaging now? 27? Maybe like
Yeah, yeah.
29, 9 and 8, MVP season. But who says he can't get it this year? I mean, like
I
okay,
agree.
so
They're gonna make him pay his dues, but they're gonna make his pay his dues. But he'll probably finish top five this year.
yeah, you probably right.
If he can
Yeah,
finish top five this year, top three next year, you know, he would
yeah,
need to. He would need to. He would need a. We would have to finish the number one seed in the East, and he would have to have like post All Star numbers of like 31, 9, and
yeah.
9 or something.
Like go
And then they would
ballistic.
probably talk about giving it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, you're right about that. Yeah, yeah, no, man. Right now
because
it's like you start looking.
whatever I don't know what they be doing with your boy Jokic, but they be stat padding this shit or something. So he's just gonna
He said
perpetually
my
average 33, 11, 11. He's gonna be
he said my boy.
the so according to NBA.com, as of the 28th, Cade is ranked fifth in All Star.
Okay.
Giannis 4, Luca 3,
Yeah, you're right.
Shea.
He had to wait his turn because it'll probably be Luca's turn to win it, or they'll give it to Shy again.
Yeah,
Wow, Maxi averaging 31. Holy shit. Okay. Yeah, yeah. 12th. Yeah, I mean, like I said, you just like what you're seeing. Hope that
but
they can
Luca
keep.
averaged 35, 8, and 9. Oh no, according or whenever this came out.
Yeah, it's scary. But yeah, no, yeah. I mean, it's looking forward. I mean, to start, covering them more next few weeks or yeah, next few months and seeing what they can do. You know, it's interesting to see how they able to kind of like prolong, go the rest of the season. We just love just seeing all these role players, all these guys getting all these key minutes so early in the season because it's going to pay off for us when the playoffs come around.
Yeah,
As far as just like depth, a lot of teams like the Knicks, for example, they probably put like seven guys, eight guys when the playoffs start. If we can find a way to play nine, 10 guys, like able to just kind of come people in waves. I mean, I think that's kind of what OKC did. They were playing like 9 or 10 deep to where kind of like overwhelm teams. I mean, they kind of obviously Cade and Shire are different players, but like the teams kind of remind me of each other quite a bit. They both just like play like really solid defense and yeah, they just kind of like I said, I kept saying it, keep saying it, come at you in waves. Like you don't, it'll be like Jalen Williams will get you 25 or Chet will get you 25 or you got guys on the bench that might hit 4 or 5 threes. We got some of the similar things going where you look up and Isaiah Stewart has 33 points against the Bulls and he missed like five shots, just like on a random like a random Wednesday night. You've seen Durant just kind of explode for like 30 and 20. So you hope that you can just as the season goes on and guys just start to, get more into form and just, that chemistry continues to grow. The confidence continues to rise.
yeah.
We're in a good
And then you got
spot.
the stickiness, Asar Thompson, Ron Holland,
Yep.
those guys, even Duran. They that shit's gonna work 95% of the time. They're not doing
Yep.
that. They're not jacking up the shots. They're they're
It's
doing
efficient. Yeah.
efficient moves to the
Around the
basket,
rim.
rebound,
Yep.
dunks, steals.
And shout out to Isaiah Stewart, Defensive Player of the Month, I believe, or the week,
Yep,
like coming off the
yep,
bench.
yeah. No, the
Like,
dude is that
yeah,
second unit. That second unit is
ridiculous.
they blow games open because it's like
Yeah.
letting out the guard dogs. It sounds cliche, whatever, but it really is. They
No,
let them
I
out
mean
there.
it's
It's crazy the amount of intensity they have, the how they jumping on teams, and don't let one
hmm
of them get, don't
yeah,
it, so I agree with you on that. The sky's the limit for him, and then you got the team really is. You got Marcus Sasser, he went off the other day. Javante
yeah.
Green, crazy. Jaden Ivey. Don't sleep on Duncan Robinson. Duncan can go crazy for
Yeah.
7
You
games.
got guys that are really like, I mean, not sleepwalking in a bad way, but they're just kind of, waiting for, yeah, I mean, you guys are kind of like the team just rounding into form to where you're not even it's not really like full strength. You're kind of getting just
Yeah.
guys kind of,
I would be more nervous if we were sitting here at second overall best record in the league and we were shooting number one 3-point shooting team in the league. I'd be much more nervous than number second overall record, number one points in the paint in the league.
Yeah, yeah, because that
Top
also translates into the
five,
playoffs as well.
yep, top five, top seven defensive rating. You know,
Yep,
those travel, those and then we've been saying it for a while now, but we got to give credit to Cade. I mean, we got one of those ones with Cade on the
yep.
court. We got a shot any night. And then if the teams are gonna win these games without Cade, for the games he has to sit out. I mean, let's pencil him in for 65 games again, like he did last year. Just pencil him in for that. And our team, if they can go 8-5 in those games, that I
Hmm.
mean that's the difference between um second, third seed and fifth, sixth seed. That's
Yeah,
the or first, second
100%.
seed and third. So I think yeah. So
100%.
no, bro, I'm just hyped about the team. We're sitting at 28-9. Uh, you watch it, Beast in the East. That's what I all see on everything. I'm sure my Twitter feed a little biased, but um,
It's true until further notice. And
I like
it's what
that.
the product. That's what it looks like. This is they proven it. It's obviously we'll see how things kind of go and whatnot once they get into the playoffs and everything. But I think they're putting themselves in a good spot just to be able to come in and make an impact. Make some noise and yeah, so hopefully get past that first round and see what happens from there.
Yeah, this is just random, but I'll send it to you as soon as we hop off. This would be us trading Karis LeVert, Jaden Ivey, Tobias Harris, and our next 5 first-round picks, and we get Michael Porter Jr. and Trey Murphy. You doing it or not?
Probably not. They kind of play the same position. They kind of play the same positions. I don't know, but I like Trey Murphy more than Michael Porter just because he plays defense. Michael Porter don't do anything else, period, except shoot. First of all, at least Trey Murphy
Yeah,
got a little bit more versatility to his game.
I don't. Yeah, I know we just said a lot about it. And I don't want to trade it, but Tobias Harris was an interesting one because he's missed a lot. I do think he is
Older,
the more replaceable, and if and
trying to
that
get rid
contract
of
at
him.
25 million, that's movable
Yeah,
enough to go get a good player worth having too. So I'm saying that'd be the one player where if they were to do some crazy shit, I think he'd be on the block. But 20 seconds here.
yeah, yeah. No, it's like I said, looking forward to seeing what they do. I think if anything, adds some shooting at the deadline. But it doesn't say they have to do a whole lot. But yeah, just excited to see how things look from here and. Excited to see what basketball season has for us to come in the next few months.